guess what? Ta-na-ta-na! It's that time again for Paws and Pals. And I'm getting very familiar with the place, at TG. Yes, my dear, I'm going up there so often because my little puppy was hurt. I don't even know how he got hurt. So I have to keep taking her up there so that she can get, where am I talking about? The Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, JSPCA. Welcome to another episode of Paws and Pals. And this is a place where pet owners and prospective pet owners can come and get more information about their little friends. And today we're talking about birds. So jump on to YouTube, Facebook, or just listen to the radio and see how you're going to learn some things that you probably thought you didn't know already. But no, my dear, surprise, surprise, there's always something to learn. So far, we have focused on dogs, cats, hamsters, rabbits, and turtles. And today we're going to be looking at birds. And joining us this morning is Dr. Shakira Hemmings. Dr. Hemmings is a graduate of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine School of Veterinary Medicine. She has over 4 years of experience in exotic animal care and rehabilitation, as well as small animal medicine. She's currently an associate veterinarian at the JSPCA. And the JSPCA is a place for veterinary clinic services, pet adoption, animal rescue, and cruelty investigation surgeries. JSPCA's mission is to promote animal rights, and they investigate cases related to animal cruelty. They're located at 10 Winchester Road, and you can call them at 9290320, and I'll have that information up shortly for you. So we're going to be talking birds. They are pretty common in Jamaican households, and there are so many types of birds. But although they are common pets, do we really know everything there is to know about them? Feel free to send in your questions to the WhatsApp line 997-3125, or you can join us on Facebook or YouTube. So jump right on in and let's get this program started. Dr. Hemmings, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Boy, I was there earlier this morning. I don't know if my darling little puppy has been seen as yet. But hello?
Hi.
Yes. Right. So I was saying earlier that I'm getting so used to JSPCA now because I have to keep taking my puppy up there. I never know that this thing is so hard, but I'm getting the hang of it and I'm getting to appreciate her some more. I was usually the one who just go outside and say hi to the dogs and go back inside the house. But now I'm getting a better appreciation, and it's really cool to have pets. True.
Wonderful it is.
All right. Okay, so today we're talking about birds. How should one prepare? We always have to start off with that. So you're sitting at home and you're thinking, I want a bird. How should one prepare for getting a bird as a pet?
You have to decide that you want a pet, a pet bird. You have to provide a stimulating, spacious, and a safe housing environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit costly to house birds, especially housing birds the correct. You have to determine where you'd want to put the bird. If it is that you want to put the bird on the outside, if you want to set up an aviary, or if it is that you want to have your bird on the inside in a spacious cage.
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose an area that is well ventilated, an area that the bird has some access to sunlight.
Okay.
An area that is safe. You want to have a safe area that is away from predators. So, for example, your dogs and your cats, you want to have them away from your bird, in a room away from your bird.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have you don't want to expose them in an area where it's near to the kitchen, for example, because
Why?
there are toxic fumes in the kitchen. So
Ah.
you have the gas fumes. You have the smoke from. A lot of people don't know this, but the Teflon frying pan,
Mm-hmm.
the non-stick frying pan, the actual fumes from that is actually deadly to birds.
To birds.
The birds. So away from the
Wow.
kitchen is
Boy, and I use it this morning and I'm there thinking, well, thank God we don't have any birds again. And I'm not gonna tell you why we don't have any birds, because then we're going to come and bad way up. We
so
we
definitely right. So
yes, we
definitely
had
away from the kitchen.
my dad is a lover of birds. I don't remember the type. And we had our birds and everything. We had them in the house, but in a space upstairs, outside. Um, and then we ended up putting them outside downstairs, and I don't know what happened, but our dogs and some of them
Got all of them.
yes, and they some flew away and some were had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Good.
and we did our best to make sure the place was secure, but I mean, trust me, it was a painful day.
Okay.
Right. So that's something that we're learning now. The Teflon frying pan is harmful. The fumes from it is harmful for birds. So if you have a bird, don't put it near the kitchen. Okay. What type of
So
bird do you recommend persons getting? So are there certain birds that are easier to take care of?
well, it depends on the person. I would say if you're a quiet person, you'd want to get a bird that possibly doesn't make as much noise. For
Mhm.
example, a macaw, a big macaw would make a lot of noise. Well, all birds make a lot of noise, but you do have some birds that are relatively quiet
Mhm.
compared to other birds.
Okay.
So you have different groups of birds. So you can have parrots, parakeets, lovebirds, cockatoos. So there are whole different
List. Yeah.
types of birds that you can get. If it is that you want an aviary and you want to mix birds, for example, that's another consideration as well as to
Okay.
the type of bird that you'd want to get.
So do they get lonely? Like if you get one bird, are they sitting there going, "Boy, I wish I had a friend"?
Yes. Oh, sorry about that.
Pick up on
Right.
line 8 and aisle 8. Right. So they do get lonely.
Yes, because birds are highly social animals and they naturally live together in groups
Okay.
or as a pair. So if you're going to get a bird, I wouldn't get one bird. I would maybe get two birds.
Okay. So does it have to be another bird for their company, or can it be another pet, a different type of pet? Not a cat. All right. But what can another type of pet keep a bird company?
I wouldn't recommend that
Okay.
because remember that birds in the wild, they are prey. So any animal that is naturally a predator,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend. So the cats and the dogs, no. So for example, if you're getting a budgie, you can get another budgie too, or a few budgies.
A
So
budgie is a type of bird.
that type of bird, it's a type of parakeet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So what about mixing species? I can't wait till we talk about fish. I know you guys don't do fish, but I know with some fish you can mix them. Is that the same with birds?
It is, especially birds that have a very strong temperament. So the birds that are angry, for example, the macaws and the conures are a bit more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't want to mix those with your budgies.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd want to hold your macaws, your African greys, and your conures separately.
Mm-hmm.
And also sizes are matters as well. So you don't want to mix the bigger birds
with the little baby bird.
With the smaller bird.
Yeah. Someone was just saying that they used to have Barbie dove, and I think that's what we used to have. We used to have about 5 of them Barbie dove birds.
Right.
Those
So
are
like
popular.
The dove, they are, but they're also endemic.
What?
So you have a lot of endemic species in Jamaica. So right.
Okay.
Right. So the pigeons. So people usually mix the pigeons. Sorry, they mix the pigeons sometimes with the dove.
Okay, with the Barbie dove.
With the dove.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying even mixing. I apologize.
That's okay. I feel like I'm at Walmart or Mega Mart. That's okay. You're working, miss. That's fine.
So even mixing ages. So you have to, if you're gonna mix the species, I recommend even mixing birds that are young, mixing them from they're young, because it's easier to mix birds when they're younger, so they grow up together.
Right.
Instead of mixing 2 adult birds, because they might fight and quarrel and not get along as 2 young birds.
Okay. All right. Let's talk feeding them now. How often should we feed them, and what should we feed them?
Okay. So with the different species of birds today, there's never an ideal diet for all the bird species combined, but there should be nutritional requirements for all the birds. So a balanced diet would include carbohydrates, protein, water, fat, minerals, and vitamins.
And they can get that in the little seeds that you get for the birds?
No. So seeds, a popular misconception is that, my bird only needs seeds to survive. That is not the case. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the illnesses that we see in birds is because of malnutrition. So what the bird needs, so seeds only make up a fraction, about 1 or 2% of what the bird actually needs. So in terms of food, you get the majority of what your bird will actually need comes from grains or pellets, a pelleted diet.
Right.
So grains would be like oatmeal, your quinoa, brown rice. That's about 50% of the diet. And then another 25% would come into play with the fruits and the vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables for bird?
Yes,
ton.
Fruits and vegetables.
What kind of fruits?
Fruits that are generally in season, like your papaya, your banana.
You can cut them up, slice them up small, and give them to the birds?
Yes.
What you saying to me? Vicky used to feed your Barbie dove fruits? We only gave them the little seeds. That was it, and water.
Right. So that would be inadequate because malnourished, when they're going to be malnourished.
You should see my face. Oh my goodness. We had malnourished birds.
And then you want to have vegetables as well. So you can cook. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually cook your pumpkin, the yams.
For bird?
Yes, your parrot. Yes, of course.
Pastor Steve, I know Pastor Steve have a parrot. You feed the parrot pumpkin. Oh my goodness. This is really cool. I'm learning something. Anybody else learning can share with us on Facebook or YouTube or on WhatsApp. Tell me what you feed your bird. Okay, interesting.
Foods are actually high in what we call carotene. That is necessary for them to produce vitamin A, for them to get vitamin.
Okay, so the little seeds them that we buy in the big bag them is not adequate. It's good, not sufficient. So we can say, fruits expensive. Well, then when you cut your thing, it's not the whole papaya you're going to give or the whole whatever. All fruits you can give them, or just certain types of fruits. Because I noticed to say when fruits in season, so it sounds like everything you can give them.
Almost everything. Not everything. I would avoid avocados especially.
Don't give them pear. All right.
No pear. I know pear is in season.
It's nice your fruit. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry?
Hello?
Yes, say that again.
I was saying protein sources. So even the seeds that you get in the pet shop is quite inadequate. So you want to top up with some protein as well.
So like what form?
While they eat worms, they eat all different kind of insects. So you want to...
They sell insects to give the birds?
So eggs, you can give your bird eggs.
Oh, so you can boil eggs and give it to them?
Right. Boil eggs with sometimes with the shell intact. So that's actually a source of calcium as well.
They can't eat the shell. Oh, it's a bird.
Perfect.
What?
Perfect. It's perfect.
I can't hear you. What do you say? If what?
Yeah.
Talk to me, lady.
They eat their own kind.
Hello?
Oh, because it's a bird. Oh, yeah, because birds come from eggs, so they eat their own kind.
You can even add shredded chicken as well. Liver, tuna.
Oh. Okay. All right. Is there any other type of protein that we can give them so that I don't have it in my head that the bird is eating a bird?
Liver.
What? It's breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
Chicken, shredded chicken, liver, tuna.
Okay, liver or tuna. Okay. Insects. Is there somewhere? Is that shop that sell insects?
I mean, to be fair, we're not going to get insects every day from a shop.
Uh-huh.
That's why we try to supplement as much as we can with the tuna, with the liver.
Okay. I can live with the tuna. I can live with the tuna. Nico said, why not pear? Why not pear? What does pear do? What does pear do?
It's actually toxic.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
Is it? Anybody giving them bird pear top? Okay. All right. So let's move on. There are so many questions, but this is quite interesting. All right. What illnesses are prevalent among birds?
So I was saying before, I see a lot of seasonal illnesses. So it's...
I'm sorry, it's breaking up. You see a lot of...
Can you hear me now?
Yes. You see a lot of...
I see a lot of nutritional illnesses.
Nutritional illnesses, okay.
So it's not what the bird eats, it's rather how much it eats.
Or from what you just said, maybe the nutritional illness is coming from the fact that maybe a lot of people didn't know it's not just the bird seed and water you must give them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the bird seed, it's low in calcium, low in protein, vitamins, iodine, and I see tumors, for example. A lot of tumors in the parrots, for example. So a lot of fatty tumors, a lot of fatty tumors. You can get goiters from the lack of iodine.
Wow.
A lot of, right. Okay. And the thing about it is that birds, because they're naturally prey species, they tend to hide illnesses longer.
So they won't necessarily be crying and saying...
They won't be crying. They'll be hiding it. So by the time you see that your bird is showing some sort of illness, it's most of the times it's a bit late. That's when the bird is almost on the way out.
Wow.
Right. So
okay, TJ, what's your question?
Okay.
Good morning, Dr. Hemmings.
Good morning.
Okay, so we got some birds. Well, we no longer have them, but some time ago, my parents they got some birds, right? And they were budgie birds, by the way. And the female, like she was eating a lot. So we had the seeds, and that's what she was eating. And like if you enter a room, so I came home one day and I turned on the light. And if you come inside, some they would turn and look at you.
Mm-hmm.
But her face was in the container with the food. And then I went outside to do something, and that lasted for about 20 minutes. And I
And when you
came back
the
inside,
birds
she
stay
was
away.
still eating. And it's like she just kept eating and eating and eating, and she got so fat. And I think she died from that. Do you know what caused that? Like she just wouldn't stop eating.
She probably was looking for the protein or something else.
And you said it was a female?
Yes, it was a female. I was
And
wondering.
was she laying at the time, or did she have?
No, she wasn't. We just got the birds, and literally a few days after buying them, she died. So she just kept eating and eating and eating, and she wouldn't stop. Like her face just never come out of the container, and I never really on. And over time, she put on weight, and then she died.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. So, in comparison to the other birds in the cage,
well, there were
was she
only
eating?
two, so
There
a
were only
male and a
two.
female, right? And he wasn't eating as much as she was.
And she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, malnourishment, can play a big part in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what she died from, because we never got to really see the bird.
Mm-hmm.
But nutrition is something that pet owners really have to consider, right? Especially if they want the birds to live a long and healthy life.
Okay.
Well, I certainly am learning a lot today. Because I just thought you just give them a little seed something and them eat it and them good and the water. But now we're learning some more. We have to wrap, but do we need to cut the birds' feathers? Trim them or whatever the word is? And
I would recommend it, especially if you're gonna have the bird. If you're gonna be training the bird, you wouldn't want the bird to be flying away, and you would want to. If the bird is in house, you'd want the bird to be able to. For trimming the bird, you'd want the bird to be able to fly without injuring himself.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else that you think is important that you want to share just before we wrap? Dr.
Birds.
Okay.
Yes. So birds are an investment. If you want, I'd repeat that if you want your birds to have a long, a happy, a healthy life, that you treat them well, make sure that they have enough space, enough ventilation. It's something that you really have to plan for. And it's not a short term.
How long do they live for?
It depends on the bird. It really does depend on the bird. So you have macaws that can live up to 50 years.
50?
50 years, yes. It's an investment. And you have the budgies that can live on average maybe 10 years if they're treated very well.
What about the ones that I was saying that we had, the Barbie dove? How long do they live for before the dog get them?
Before the dog, maybe about 10 years.
Okay. Wow, awesome! I'm loving this, and I hope you, our listeners, you learned something. If you have a bird, please find out. Call your JSPCA. Find out what else you can give them. Don't just give them the seed, the little seeds them. All right. Thank you much, Dr. Hemmings. It's always a pleasure sharing with you. Yes. And I want to say thanks to our team members from the JSPCA And those of you on YouTube and Facebook will see the little paw in the logo. Thank you very much. And by God's grace, next week again, we'll be at it. I want to also, that's Dr. Shakira Hemmings from the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And also to producers, Jody Ann Small and TG. Thank you so much for everything. Join us next week to see which animal we'll be discussing. Won't necessarily be an animal. We keep that you keep as a pet, but it could be an animal that person's rare. And somebody said turtlenecks. Didn't we do turtles last week? I'll send you that video. Yes, very interesting for true. Vicky says very interesting. All right, thank you so much. God bless you. And keep it locked on Love 101.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Hemmings.
Take care. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me.